So, just a quick recap so we can get into it. You guys had just defeated the Elder Brain. You left Ulfgar alone and in his cell, watching the tavern and the world go by, when there is a strange character, a strange person arrives who is known as the Prophet to those that are in the room. And the Prophet had a prisoner, a bounty with him, who was recognised as being a orc, a large orc, who was Zaraj, the assassin. So, with that, Ulfgar manages to piece together that the Prophet is someone that he'd met in the way of Obo, who had disassociated himself from the party a while ago and gone off and started doing his own thing. You guys all reconvene on the surface. You start to decide about what your next steps are, and eventually you make your way back to the tavern, where you get some rest, and you decide to make plans, visiting various connections that you have throughout the city. You decide that you're going to leave, going on your way, and as you walk out into Troll Skull Alley and out into the sort of open street beyond, you see Corellan's Crown. This is a place that you had visited when you were in search of Zaraj. You see the greenhouse that sits above it, full of wonderful green flowers, green plants. When as you're walking through that street, there's a huge explosion blowing out the front of the building, and a huge gout of flame and heat sort of knocks you back a little bit, and that's where we'll pick up the game. So, has anyone got anything that they want to add? Just to clarify, do you all remember where you were all heading and what you were going to do?
Could do with a reminder, I think.
We were basically all heading, I think, to the Yawning Portal.
Yeah, I was absolutely heading towards the Yawning Portal.
What, to see different people?
Yeah.
Or was...
That was the plan, yeah. We were all heading towards the Yawning Portal, and then we were going to go and do other bits and bobs.
Frederick went for Frederick was going to sort out get some bits and bobs for the tavern to keep us tide us over and try and get a license sorted. I think give him like a good wedge of money to get it all sorted out. Didn't mean we were all going to go to the Yawning Portal and then possibly split up, divide and conquer on a few little things.
Yeah, we were going to go to the Taylor's, and we were going to go see Zord, weren't you?
Yeah, about getting a ship to the Underdark, or probably what that looks like in general.
However, the explosion may have
derailed
those, yeah.
Railroaded. Railroad.
Derailed, railroaded. Derailroaded.
It is a DM's prerogative. Excuse me. Okay, everyone happy?
Railroaded. You can certainly try.
Okay, so you walk out, and then before you a huge explosion. You just feel this huge swell of flame and heat just erupt in the street before you. You hear the smashing and cracking of the building behind it, of the Corellan's Crown. You watch, just dumbstruck, as this, as in the street there is just carnage. Just roll perception checks, please.
Twelve.
19.
12.
15.
19.
19.
15. Okay. Isla,
My passive
your
perception's actually 60, so
your as this huge gout of flame is erupted in the street, you think you hear a scream, faint. You just pick up just a small hint of it in amongst the blast and the carnage, the chaos that's now erupting in the street itself. Thurin, as this flame boils out, this huge, almost orb-shaped flame that starts to rise up, almost like as it sort of picks up in terms of the smoke and gets lifted. You just sort of see that the smoke swirling around the fire that's raising up from the street, and just as the smoke just turns, you just catch the face of your patron, and then disappears as it rises through into the heat.
That can't be him.
It takes a few moments, and the fire, this it's literally just picked up with the smoke. You just sort of see now that there's debris amongst on the cobbles of the street. You can see that there's glass, broken wood, little bits of fire here, there, and everywhere. Really littered everywhere. And as the breeze through the street just naturally starts to clear some of the smoke away, you can see the devastation of the front of the Corellan's crown. You can see that where the window and the door was is now just a hole. Yeah, in amongst the brick, you just see that it's just carved out the front of this building. And then as you look and as you survey the debris, you can see that there is a body, and then there's another one. And as your eyes start to adjust, start to pick up, you see that there are a few bodies just littered, lying still amongst the rubble and the glass and the burning embers on the timber that was part of the building.
I rush over to the nearest body.
Okay. You rush over. You see that there is you see that this is quite a burnt. The garments on it is burnt. This is a smaller stature of a person. This is almost, from what looks like a halfling, really, in terms of size.
Is he breathing? Or are they breathing?
You just roll a medicine check for me.
as he does that, can I just have a quick survey around and see if I can see
Natural
anyone
20.
in the opposite direction?
Just hold on to that for 1 second for us, Isla. So you roll the halfling over. You sort of see that their body is limp and they are still. You can see that their face is cut, bits of glass, and you can also see where the fire has sort of torched some of their clothes and their hair. And you see that it is a female halfling. You can see by the clothes, less sort of scorched on the front, that they're actually quite decorative. Think sort of like lederhosen type thing. It's very green. It's got flowers that have been sort of delicately stitched into the clothes. and you can sort of see that as she rolls over, deceased, you can see that clutched in one of her hands is a flute, just a simple wooden flute. Okay, Ezra, so what were you saying?
Just have a quick survey of the area and see if like anyone's say suspiciously leaving the scene or anything like that. See if anyone flees.
Just roll a perception.
16.
16. You can see that a lot of people are running from the scene. As the road sort of stretches off in both directions, you can sort of see that you've got, at a distance, you can sort of see that you've got people that are rubbernecking. You know, what was that? And then you've got people that are just, getting out of there. They're just running for a safe distance. You kind of get an uneasy feeling, especially with sort of seeing the panic and people running, that there's another explosion that's maybe anticipated here. Yeah, you can sort of see that there's quite a lot of chaos, really.
I shout over, "This one's dead," and I run over to the next one.
Yeah, the next one that you sort of see next to this body is another halfling, again female. This one was blonde. She had quite a thick plait in her hair, and as you sort of search and roll her over, you can sort of see again they're very sort of similar in dress, if not pretty much identical, and again in the hand is a wooden flute.
Also dead.
Also dead.
I think Tavis's reaction would have been, his thoughts would have gone to Fala, the elf who we've met, who's the proprietor. If I go towards Corellan's Crown, does it look like there's any way in? And I'd be running towards, shouting, "Fala, Fala, you okay?"
You scan quickly on obviously the area, the way in. So what you could see of the actual shop of Corellan's Crown is just open to the elements. And a lot of what was on display in terms of vials and plants and things at the front of the shop have just been destroyed. You see, sort of half in and sort of half out of that building, you sort of see a slender humanoid form that's just lying still. As you run up, and as you get close, you see what looks to be sort of this big and pointed shard of glass, and it is through the torso of the individual that's on the floor. As you get close, you see that Fala is lying impaled with this glass.
Isla, can you help? Can you heal? And I'll run over and see if there's anything I can do at all to try and help her, which I don't think there is.
Just roll a medicine check.
Yeah, I'll go over and have a look. As I'm walking over, does it look like the explosions come from inside the shop and blown stuff outwards, or does it look like the explosion's been on the street and blown stuff inwards?
Roll a perception check.
I got 12 for medicine.
You. What?
Go.
What was it?
17.
17. Okay, so you're going to get there sort of after Tavis. So Tavis, you look down and you see Fala. You see the soft elven features, and you take a knee, reach in behind their head, and sort of pull them up sort of towards you and look at them. As you do, there's a and there's just a gout of blood in this cough, which, because of lying down, is now all round their mouth. and you can see that Fowler hasn't really got long, and they look at you and they say, clutching this wound.
We'll get help. We'll get help. Don't worry. We can
Pull
heal.
out the glass. Pull out the glass.
Are you sure?
As
I pull out.
as this is happening, hang on. As this is happening, Isla, you're getting there. You can see now what Tavis can see. In terms of debris, it's 50-50 either side of that wall. It is just a mess. The shop is a mess, and you can sort of see that it's obviously where it's all littered out on the front as well.
Okay, so my deduction kind of be that it's happened right on the cusp of the wall, or maybe just inside.
Yeah, you would.
Like that.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'd say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
But as you're surveying, at the back of the shop, where you remember going round the counter itself and back through the door which led to the stairs, you can see in the corner there is a tall, really tall, ornate bird cage. And this bird cage is leaning into the corner where it's been knocked over by the blast. And you see flapping wildly and really ferociously flapping with feathers going everywhere, a brown owl in this cage.
I'm going to try and pull the glass out like she said. I'm like, not sure if that's the right thing. I know Isla's on his way. I know he can heal. I'm going to do what she says.
I'd say I'll have seen that he's about to pull the glass out, so I'm going to make my way over there, but speedily.
Okay, Negan, what are you doing during this?
I'm just trying to look around, see if anyone needs like help or if anything's going on, or if I can see sort of like anything further away from it. Been obviously something that's caused an issue.
Yeah. Okay. You walk through the glass. The glass is cracking and grinding underneath your boots as you're walking along. You see multiple bodies. You see that there are some humans, some half elves, which looks like they're sort of quite grouped together, quite close. But you can see that from their clothes that they're not nobles, but they're not peasants. They're not wearing sort of cheap clothes. You can sort of see that that it is modest. It's excuse me. You can see that there is an elderly woman, again, human, short grey hair, and she's lying on her side, and you see that she is she's deceased, and she's been caught in this blast. You also see two males in dark robes. They're not side by side, but they do look like they're wearing very similar attire. And they've both been killed by the blast as well as they lie there.
Can I see anywhere where it looks like point of like where it's happened? Where it looked worse, like across the buildings.
The worst is right in that doorway. That everything seems to have emanated out from that doorway.
Okay. And I'm guessing there's still stuff like a bit of flare blaze.
Yeah, there's small little fires, where like the wood, like wooden frames of the door itself, little pieces of wood are just smouldering, small little flames. A lot of smoke which is sort of being drifted and wafted with the breeze, and the glass and the dead bodies. You sort of see that these yeah, these sort of two males have more of a gruff appearance in comparison to the others that you'd seen. As you continue to survey, Ulfgar, what are you doing?
I'm just sort of standing completely stunned by everything that I can see around me. Checking for any clues, apart from obviously what everyone else can see. Anything of value as well, I think I'll probably be looking for. I hate to say it, but it's the kind of character he is.
Okay, roll an investigation check.
13.
13. You sort of look around, and you can sort of see that by the wall where it's been, the actual wall opposite where Cavellan's crown is, you can sort of see that just outside of the blast, you see what is a barrel, and this is like a rainwater catch that sits at the bottom of the building, and you sort of see this barrel, and you sort of see that there is this body that's hanging over the barrel, sort of half in and half out. This small legs, and this is just in amongst all the carnage. As you sort of perceive it, looking around and seeing what you can see, you see that these pair of legs actually start to move and kick. And you sort of see this head come out of the water. And you see this wet hair hanging limp of this small halfling boy who then goes straight back into the water. And that just catches your eye. As you're sort of moving around and sifting, there's quite a lot of attention. So to start picking pockets and things like that is entirely Ulfgar's prerogative. However, there is still a large amount on the periphery of people that are paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing I saw run over. I mean, I can get to this barrel.
Yeah, you
I?
can walk through the wreckage. You can see that there's a barrel. Yeah, with this small boy.
No. Yeah, just run over and just grab him and put him out.
And he comes out. What'd you that for?
What are you doing in there?
Well, whatever it is, it's in there. I can see it shiny. Let me get it. And he sort of shrugs you off. Let's just roll a strength check for me.
Fight the child. Fight the child.
Sorry.
Don't need to tell me that twice.
Yeah.
15.
15. He goes back in, but then you sort of pull him out. You got him sort of by the back, and he can clear off, will you? And you sort of see that he's very much sort of similarly dressed to the bodies that you can see amongst the wreckage, and now he's all soaked. Okay, so with that then, Tavish, you've got hold of the glass, and you can see that Fala's become really unresponsive, and she just doesn't look right at all.
I've pulled it out.
Let's have a strength check. This is gonna take a little bit. Now, Isla, you can aid it in this if you want, or if you're gonna aid, it's advantage, but it would be a bit. It will take a bit of pulling to get that out.
If I'm there in
Don't
time,
aid him. Let's see him struggle.
if I'm there in time, I'll try and help him.
No, you're there now. Yeah.
Advantage then, yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
So I got 15.
Yeah, it's tough. As you start to pull it, there's a suction like to the wound, holding on to the smooth surface of the glass. And at first, you think it's going to be quite easy, but you really have to sort of, get set with your feet and then start to pull. As you do, it starts to slide. And you start to try and control how much it's coming out. You can see that Fala's really, it's almost sort of it really is end of life, because she's not even responsive as you pull it out. And as you pull out this,
As he's pulling out, I want to cast Cure Wounds at level 1.
okay, so as you pull it out, you see that there's just a spray of blood, and then really dark, thick blood starts to come out through the wound. And as that happens, you see Isla then just lay his hands down, and the blood isn't pouring as it was. It starts to close up and heal the wound, but you can see that she's that even with this, she's quite unresponsive. And while this is happening, you look up and you just see this owl just beating its wings so hard within this cage, almost to a point where you fear that it's going to do itself harm. That's how much it's...
Isla, have you got Fala?
Yeah, I've got it.
I'll go over to the cage and try and release that owl.
Okay. As you go up to the cage, you sort of see for a moment that the owl's eyes just sort of, as wild as they are and as a frenzy as it is, it just sort of locks onto you, and you just sort of see that it's staring at you as you're staring at it, and a calm falls over the owl, and you unlatch the cage and open it, but the owl just remains still.
I'm like, it's okay, buddy, and feed it. Offer it a bit of rations, whatever I've got, dried bread, meat. I wouldn't have any insects. Oh my!
It doesn't respond. It just stays still, looking at you as you're looking at it.
Okay. I'm kind of caught in the moment then. I think I've like kind of zoned out of what all the rest of the things have happened, and I'm kind of looking at this owl, and it's looking at me, and yeah, having a bit of a moment.
As you see that, you hear then behind you, Fala, and she takes this breath, this real sort of intake of breath. It's the first one that you've heard. Isla, you look down and you sort of see that the eyes sort of open, very, very sort of dazed and confused, and she lets out a real wail in pain. You hear this gut wrenching cry as her hands go to the wound, and almost like even though the wound is healed, it's still there, like an amputee feeling a hand that's been missing. It still has that feeling of being there. And she looks up at you, Isla, and says, she sort of puts out her hand and says, help me up.
Yeah, halberds for feet.
As you do, what's that, sorry?
I'll just say to her, just take your time.
She kind of like sort of sits up, and where the broken wall is, she kind of sort of leans back against it, and rests her head. You've kind of got a hold of the arm, and you can sort of see that there are these like leather braces on the arm that you've held onto. It's sort of they wear quite a flowing garment of greens, which sort of bellows around it, but you can sort of see these braces, and she sort of pushes herself back up, and she sort of leans forward, And she sort of puts her head in her hand. And she turns and she looks at the owl. And she says, he doesn't like that cage. Starts stretching her back.
So no one likes a cage.
He's been in it too long. Maybe this was a sign. If you leave him, he'll make his own way out of there. And she looks at you, Tavis.
Good. Seems like it's time for him to spread his wings.
And she looks round at the shop of everything that she's built and put together. She says, maybe that's a sign for us all. I don't know what happened. She sort of rubs her head.
Who could have done this, fella, and why?
I don't know. I heard something on the roof, some clattering around, and I don't know. The next minute, the whole front had exploded. We'd just come down from my room just to open up, and next minute I know I'm out cold. As you stand there, the owl comes to the front of the cage, and you feel this draft of air as the wings beat, and the owl flies over, just in one swoop, silently, and just lands on her shoulder, and she just starts to stroke just under the chin. You see that the owl sort of pushes towards in this sort of motion.
He's magnificent. What's his name?
He goes by many names. Oh, help me stand, please. And again, she offers the hand out to you, Isla.
Yeah, I help her up at the same time. Just see if I can pet the owl.
As you go to put your finger near the owl sort of snaps quite quick. Never an intent on biting, but it was more than enough of a warning shot.
Feisty little fellow.
Let's go and have a look outside. And she takes these sort of really short, like shallow steps to start walking outside, and you hear her soft boots scraping on the broken glass as she walks outside, and you can see that she's walking around bodies. You can see that she's avoiding stepping over anything too big. She's just sort of snaking her way out to a point where she just gets to the other side of the debris. It's in the shade as the sun sort of reaching a height now. It's just in the other side of the street in the shade, and you can see that she looks up and surveying the greenhouse, and you can see that this is the real concern that she had, her real pride and joy on top of the building and her plants, and you sort of see her looking, and again she reaches up and she just strokes underneath the chin of the bird. Okay. Negan.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Can I obviously where it's blown up? Can I look into there and see if I can see anything of what could have caused it?
Roll an investigation check.
$14.
14.
Yeah.
As you walk from the two humans in black, as you walk away from them, you see another body on the floor. This one is a lot smaller, and you see the shape of a gnome. You can sort of see that they have this bald head, this huge puff of hair that goes around this sort of reddy brown hair, and you can see like a little chin beard that comes down to a point. The clothes that they're wearing is like it's like browns, leather. It's sort of functional. I won't class it as armor, but it's definitely not armor, if you know what I mean. He is just lying still. You see a look of pain on his face as you make your way over to the opening of this wall where Thurin and Tavis and Isla are standing. Ulfgar's just a little way off by the barrel.
There wasn't anything that I noticed that was weird about the gnome. It was just obviously.
You can roll an investigation check.
Yeah, boy. Oh, natural 20.
As you look around the body, you just sort of, with respect, you just sort of lift around. You can sort of see where there's like brick and stone that he's lying on. It's all sort of got washed up together in the blast, and as you sort of inspect, you see that right by his hand, you see a short, wide, coming to a really tight point dagger.
Can I pick it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pick it up and sort of like dust it off.
Yeah, you can see that it's nothing elaborate. The blade, like I said, is really quite thick at the base, and then comes to a really sort of point. You can sort of see that it's got a slight handguard, but nothing major. And then it's got well worn but really tightly wound leather, sort of going spiraling down the handle, where it's sort of been tied off neatly and then capped off at the base. It's a dagger.
It's a dagger. Okay. Well, can I keep it? I'll keep hold of that for now.
Okay. Where are you going to keep it?
Can I put it in my pocket on my jacket? The inside.
Okay. Yeah. So you just stash it in there. Looking around, you can't really see anything. Anything else. There's nothing really to. It's really that sort of catches your eye. As you move over to the blast, you can sort of see where Isla and Tavis are standing. The pavement is a lot darker, just in way of where like the door would have been. You can sort of see that where the glass is and where the glass sort of points. You can sort of see that it's all sort of coming out from this area. Like the blast, where they're standing, is almost where the blast was.
So it doesn't look like something's gone in. It looks like something's gone from there and gone outwards.
Hard to tell just from the glass. Okay, so while you're doing that, then Thurin.
Yeah, I'm just running from body to body, trying to find somebody that needs help. Doing the whole "is anybody alive out there" thing.
Yeah, you.
And like every now and then, I'll glance up at the smoke and shake my head.
Yeah, the smoke and the flame has now gone, and although you've become quite accustomed to seeing faces in the fire, it's still not accustomed to it. You've seen it now regularly enough. You're still not accustomed to it, I should say. It still takes you by surprise. As you go around the bodies, you see what Negan's seen. You've seen an old woman who is deceased. Two men that are wearing sort of all black, and they're sort of further over to the left, from where Negan has just been around the body of the gnome. You can sort of see that there are more halflings in similar dress. In fact, it's all very similar in terms of what they're wearing. You can find that there are 4 bodies in amongst the debris. And you also see that Fala has started to work. She's moved over and she's now assessing the damage of the building.
Would I be able to spot these bodies and notice that they're all wearing the same stuff or similar stuff? Or
Are you moving out of the shop now to investigate in the area, or?
yeah, well, definitely will have moved out the shop, and I'll definitely be looking round. But I don't know whether the bodies are close enough for me to notice that they're all wearing the same.
Yeah, those bodies are not far from the sort of the front of the. Are you still with us, Matt? Are you missing out on it, or?
No, I'm here all the time. Sorry.
You're still there.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Just in case you were missing out, I just.
No, I've got
yeah,
it.
so
I
you.
did.
No, that's right. So yeah, you can see that that those bodies are wearing similar garb. Yeah. You can also see that Ulfgar has got hold of a boy wearing similar clothes as well.
Well, before going over towards Ulfgar, can I just go over to one of the bodies and, roll the sleeves up, move the collars, just look for any identification marks, tattoos, or anything like that?
Anyone in particular that you're looking at? Looking at them all, or looking at some, or?
Just a couple of them, maybe a couple on the way.
Roll an investigation check.
17.
17. Yeah, you make your way around. You can sort of see that whoever these halflings are, they're dressing very, very similar. You sort of glance. You're nothing too sort of intrusive really, but you sort of glance and you can't really see anything on them. The old lady, there's nothing. The sort of well-dressed humans, you can sort of see that they're don't really have. They're quite young, to be honest. And you can sort of see that there's like a half-burnt sort of wicker basket that's sort of lying off to one side, and bits of pieces in there, like there's wrapped cheese and meats and stuff like that. It looks like they've been out and they've been buying, they've been purchasing something, and then as you make your way round, you see the 2 sort of men that are dressed in black, just bending down and rolling up the sleeve around one arm and then the other. It doesn't take you long before you see a winged snake tattoo on one wrist, and that sort of spurs you a little bit as you move to the next body. You sort of have a look, and there's a little glimpse of one on a neck, one of the necks, the other male neck. You move over to the old lady, and you don't really see anything that would strike you as identification.
Whilst he's doing that, I'll be saying, Fala, who are these people? Were they all in your shop or in the streets? Do you know any of them?
Fala's moved away from you because she's over the other side of the street. But you're still in the shop, aren't you?
I was, yeah. I'd go to catch her up to ask that question if I can.
Okay, I just want everyone to roll a perception check.
13.
18.
23.
4.
Thorin and Isla, from where you're standing, you're sort of in between where Fowler is and where Tavis is, and you see Tavis just call out to Fal as he starts to walk. As he starts to walk and across the glass, you just spot as Fala sort of whispers to the owl, just sort of stroking, and then she sort of gives a shove with the shoulder, and the owl takes off, and there's a beat of its wings as it heads towards Tavis. As it does, you see a transformation. You see the wings of this owl start to shorten. In fact, its whole body starts to shrink down by a considerable amount. You see that there is a colour change, that there's a change to the face, and this is all happening in 5 beats of the wing. You see that this bird of prey, starts to shrink right down, and almost within 2 heartbeats, what you see flying out of the transformation is a magpie. And the magpie swoops, and it comes up and lands on Tavis's shoulder. And you see that there is a similarity. The black of Tavis's garbs, what he wears, his cloak, the white of his hair that hides beneath the hood. And you see that this bird matches the Tavis. And as it lands on his shoulder, almost for a second, just as a touch, before taking off into the sky, you see Tavis collapse to the floor.
Oh, fuck, here we go again. I'll make my way over to
I'd
Tavis.
run over towards Tavis.
Yeah.
As you run over, by Ulfgar that's still got hold of this boy by the barrel. As you run over, you see that Tavis's eyes have gone white. Not like they've rolled, they've gone milky white, like cataracts. And you can see that he is shaking, like he's having a like an anaphylactic shock or whatever. He's just shaking on the spot, and you hear him like cry out. The glass sort of cutting into his robes at the back, as he's sort of just twitching on the floor.
There's no reaction from Fowler.
No.
What do I feel?
At first, sheer vertigo. Tavis, you...
So can I determine what's going on?
What's that, sorry?
Can I work out what's going on with him?
Roll a medicine check.
21.
Really hard to tell. You've never seen anything like it, but you get down close and you try and assess, but he is really sort of thrashing about, and then he becomes still for a minute, breathing, and you can see his eyes are moving almost like he's trying to see, like he's trying to work out what's just trying to see. You can see that he can't. His eyes look blind.
I say to her, is there anything I should be worried about?
Tavis, what you see is a blinding flash of light. And as that flash of light bursts, you get a rush of speed, a huge force and momentum. And you see this building just rush by you, and then you turn, and then you see another building rushing by, and then another turn, and you feel that you're elevated, that you're going up. You can see that there are roofs. You can see now the the glass of the greenhouse of Krellin's crown. You burst above these buildings, and you see the brilliance and the sheer vastness of Waterdeep. You see the Godcatcher, this mighty statue, huge stories high, with an arm extended and an orb of a world just just suspended above with this magical force. You feel the wind rush past you, and you feel elated. You feel a freedom that you've never felt before. You feel another turn and another, and you look down and you can see the people in the streets below. And that view quickly changes into the debris, where you see the party, where you see Fala, where you see your body lying on the floor with another couple of beats of the wings, and you soar again through the street.
Do I see anyone from the roof near anyone like trying to escape from the roof? Because she mentioned to me hearing a noise on the roof.
Roll a perception check.
With my perception stats?
Use yours for now, yeah.
-2.
You got 13.
13. You see that there is a lot of movement in these streets. You know, carriages have come to a stop at either end. You search, your eyes darting, but there's a lot of side streets. There's a lot that's going on to try and pick anything out.
Okay. I think after a while, not too long, I'd probably head back down to my body, not knowing what was going on with me.
Well, you can still speak.
Okay. So, right, Isla just asked. There's probably something to worry about. Well, I don't know what it is. I actually think I'm fine. I can see through the eyes of that bird.
I initially was very surprised the fact I'd asked her a question and now he's speaking.
I know you asked me.
No, I didn't. I asked her.
Oh, I thought you asked Tavis.
No, I asked her what have you done to him? Is he okay?
So Tavis anything to worry about?
I think he just locked up and said it.
I could slightly replay that then and say, I'm okay. I'm okay. I can see you. I can see me. I'm seeing through the eyes of that bird. I think it's some magic that I'd been thinking about and working on, and I don't know why it's happened now, but I'm okay. I'm vulnerable because I can't see. I'll move, but I'm not injured.
So you're fine, but you're vulnerable.
Well, please don't leave me because I'm just lying still and blind. But yeah, and
I look at Isla and say, "Don't punch him in the knot." No.
Wasn't gonna punch him.
So, but I would still, I think, make my way to the roof, the greenhouse roof, and see if there's anything I can see there that gives away anything with regards to anybody who might have caused this or what might have done this, and then failing that, head back down to my body.
Okay, roll another perception check for me.
11.
11. You come to land on the glass of the greenhouse itself, and as you look around, surveying in almost this sort of like fishbowl type view that you have at this like long distance, and you sort of look around and see there's nothing that catches your eye, if you like, but as you look over in the distance, above the roofs, and this is in the distance, you see that there are wings flapping. You see that there is one set, and then another set behind it, then a third, and these are quite a way off, but you can see them. You can see that these wings are, that this is quite a big creature, and you realise that you'd seen griffins before, but they look like they're moving this way.
I'll say that. Say there are griffins approaching the city. They're a good way off, but they're coming this way.
Must be the guard.
Can I hear him?
Yeah.
Maybe we don't want to be too close when they get here. We've only tried to help, but the guard can get things wrong.
Well, that's kind of difficult. I can't move your lump of a body.
Rude. And with that, I'll head back down to my body.
It's a conscious link that you break.
Right.
That you can
I'll think
feel
about
this.
doing that and think about wanting to come back to myself then.
Yeah, it feels very natural to come back. It feels very strange how natural it is. But as you do, you blink and you open your eyes, and the milkiness of what was there before has vanished, and now is just your normal eyes, and you sort of glance up and can see that this magpie is still sort of moving around from building to building and flying around up and down the street.
Cool. Can I go over to the bodies of the Zentarum now that I know he's back and safe and sound?
Yep.
Cool. Is there people around? People watching?
Yeah. As you walk off, you sort of see out the corner of your eye that Fala is sort of making her way towards you.
Is it windy outside?
Towards us now.
Is it windy outside?
There's a breeze. There's a breeze enough to clear out the smoke that was emanating and things like that. So yeah, there's a bit of a breeze.
Would you say it's over 10 miles an hour?
Oh, God. I don't know what is that? Is that a fart? I don't know. What is it?
10 miles an hour.
Yeah. That sounds pretty quick to me, that. In terms of wind.
Yeah.
I'd have said it was a breeze.
Okay,
cool. It's...
I just want to walk over towards the Zentarum, and because there's that many eyes on it, on the body, on the like general area, just kind of under my breath, and as I approach them, just cast fog cloud on where they are, and then I'll want to fucking rummage like fuck through everything in their pockets.
Okay. Yeah, you go through. There are some sort of simple weapons. One has a sword, another one has a dagger. This cloud starts to obviously form around within the street. How big's the radius of that cloud?
Second. So it's a concentration spell for an hour and a 20-foot radius sphere of fog centered on a point within range. Spreads around corners and the area is heavily obscured.
How big was the fog? Sorry.
20-foot radius sphere. 20-foot radius sphere.
Yeah, so you feel that the breeze is tugging at the fog. You can sort of see that wisps of it are being taken away as you sort of step into it, where these bodies are. But you don't feel it's enough for it to just blow it away straight away. Yeah, as you... One sec. Yeah, as you inspect the bodies, you find that between them there's about 8 gold, and you also find a potion of healing.
Take it. But nothing in way of paperwork or anything like that.
Not really, no.
Okay.
Okay, Ulfgar, you've got hold of this boy, and you've watched this all play out in front of you. What do you want to do?
I've seen what's happened to Tavis. Or am I still concentrating on the boy?
No, you've seen. Yeah, you've got a hold of him, but you've seen what's happened, and even the boy's like, sort of just watching what's going on.
Yeah, I just sort of glance over and see that it's all being taken care of, and then turn my attention back, boy. And I just say to him, "Problem shared, problem halved, my dear lad. Now, what's in that barrel?"
Don't know. When it all kicked off, I hid behind this barrel, didn't I? Anyway, when the explosion started to die down, I heard it splash in there. Whatever it is, it's shiny. I want it.
Right. Okay. Well, how about we try and get it out? Just take a look at the barrel, weighing it up, then go to cut a hole in it. Basically, take it apart to get the water out.
It can be tipped over, but he sort of looks at you and says, "Well, no. How about I get it? Because I spotted it."
I want to try and intimidate him.
Can I hear this conversation from where I am?
I don't think you're too far away.
Can I walk over there and cast Mage Hand as I'm walking over?
Yeah.
I'll just send the Mage Hand into the barrel and pick it up.
You pick up the barrel.
No, the
Or you
item
you
inside
put
the
it in. Oh, okay. Is it visible?
The Mage Hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, very visible. Yeah.
Yeah. So as the mage hand apparates and floats through the air and heading towards the barrel, he goes, "Oh no, we're cheating! God! Oh my god!" honestly, God, they're never going to believe this when I tell them. And the hand just plunks in. And there's a bit of feel around the bottom. It's just got like a really greasy sort of like feel to it, where there's all sorts that's grown in here after the time. When the hand comes across something that feels metallic, you're gonna pull it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pull out, and as you do, you see that what looks like a necklace sort of hanging.
I'll float it over to me and take it in my hand.
Yeah,
what I was going for anyway. Well done.
You look. There is a silver necklace. There are these like silver caps that hang on the necklace, and then there are 3 of them, and then attached to 2 of them are what look like red marbles. And as you inspect and you hold them up, you can sort of see that there's a slight movement within the marble. There's a slight twist and turn, on almost a light emanating, small light emanating from within the center of it. It seems like it's almost like something was bright that was put inside a dark glass marble. It's just visible within it.
Yeah. That's weird. Is there any like runes or anything on it or anything? Any markings?
As you check it over, no. It looks like it's fairly well crafted. But like I said, there's 2 out of 3 of these holders have these marbles in.
I put it in my pocket. Say sorry, mate. It's too dangerous for you.
Okay. Give me 1 sec.
I put it in the bag of holding.
Okay. Yeah. You slip the necklace into the bag. And he just sort of shrugs at Ulfgar for him to put him down. I need to go and find my friends. Can't believe I missed out on that. You sort of see he's only about like 12. He's not old. He's just sort of like quite brash. Kind of reminds you of another halfling that you've met.
I look at him and I say to him, "Trust me, it's the one item you didn't want to pick up."
He's like, "You're joking. I could have sold it." No, well, like just
see,
let me down, will you?
Am I near enough by as well to see this happen and someone get the necklace and the kid be disappointed?
Yeah, you're sort of still prone on the floor, having sort of come round and from the experience.
Does he look like he's not dressed like the other halflings, is he? Was he a halfling or just a boy?
He's a halfling boy. He's about a 12-year-old male halfling.
Is he dressed the same as the others that we've seen, the bodies?
From what you can see, yeah, very similar.
Hang on, still too groggy coming round. Just curious.
Yeah, and he looks at Ulfgar and he says, Can you let me go? I need to go and find my friends, please."
Go on, get out of here.
And you sort of drop him to the floor, and he starts to sort of run. He sort of stops and sees the fog, but he can see that you can sort of get around it, and then he starts to run off down towards that sort of part of the street. He doesn't get more than 10 or 15 feet away from me before he stops in his tracks, and he looks down at the bodies of his friends, and you sort of see that his head sort of dips as he looks from one to the other to the next one. And you sort of see his shoulders sort of getting tight and pulled up, and then they drop, and then he runs.
It's a cruel world.
Okay, Thorin, what are you doing? Butchie's pissed himself.
Yeah, I get rid of Mage Hand, and yeah, I'll head back over to Fowler and survey the building from her perspective.
Okay, you head back to Fowler. Tavis?
Yeah, get up by this point and start seeing to the guys. I've seen the Garda on the way. I think we probably don't want to be here when they get here. I know we've only tried to help, but we'll just be caught up in discussion, investigation. We could be, tarred with the brush of having been involved. I feel like we should try and hurry up. Where did Isla go?
Isla?
Yeah, I'll make my way back out. And just say to Father, like, I'm just gonna go up to greenhouse if that's cool with you. And keep going anyway, like, it's more of a...
Isla, the guard's going to be here any second.
Yeah, they're not gonna be in the greenhouse roof though, are they?
Well, yeah, they were going to be investigating the explosion, and it's from that building.
Yeah. And?
Just think we don't want to get caught up in being part of the investigation into this. We want to be free to do what we want to do, but you do you.
Yeah, but like this, yeah, like, I'll be quick. I'll like run off.
As you do, Fowler's was approaching you before you went into the fog, and she puts her hand on your shoulder and she says, just wait. And you sort of see a look of sorrow in her eyes, a sort of look of sadness, which turns to gratitude, and you sort of see there's a lot of emotions that are sort of swirling around. And they say to you, I've saved lives. It's the first time I've had my life saved. Never been that close to death before. I owe you a great debt.
So, not to worry. I've also saved a few lives, and I've been closer to death than I care to be again. Let's put it that way.
As you say that, you see that she's not looking in your eye anymore. She's sort of looking down, and she starts to pull on a leather thread, which weaves its way in a cross fashion all the way down this leather bracer that she's got on each arm, and she pulls and she starts to undo, not pulling it all out, just sort of slackening it off, and she removes one of the braces, and then she goes to the other hand and she starts doing the same, giving it, pulling it, picking at it, and again sort of releasing it, and after a minute or so she takes both the braces off, and she says, "Please, these were given to me many, many years ago. A token of gratitude." She just holds them out to you.
I'll look at her. Look at the braces and so you're welcome. I will take them.
As you take them off, just roll a perception for me.
20, not natural.
You see that the leather workings on these braces is like nothing you've ever seen. It has a scene that is embossed around the wrist and then around the top. Two different scenes. Both are identical to each other. Both share the same scene at the bottom equally and the same scene at the top. The scene at the bottom and the scene at the top are reverse. When you look at it, holding it, you see that this is the right way up and that this way is upside down. Almost like it can be viewed from either side. As you hold them, as she's given with the smaller ring that would be for the wrist, the wrist end, you see that embossed is a scene of a woodland, trees, and it is really delicately done. And you see a figure with what looks like a small staff, small point in the hand, holding, and they are standing beside a tower, and around the tower is this image of lightning, and almost flames around the tower itself. As you turn the brace around to look at its counter image, the image now upside down to it is now visible the right way up as you turn the bracer. You can see that this image again is of a woodland scene all the way around from one side of the strap to the other, and you can see that there is two figures in these trees that stand in the forefront. One has a sprightly look, and has what looks like a pole across their back with what looks like a hanging bag. And then next to them is what looks like a wizard, a sort of wizened person, an old crone of a person hunched over. And you can see that they hold what looks like a torch, and in the leather you can see lines have been etched of the light from the torch. And both are identical.
These are beautiful. Thank you. I'll wear them with a great memory of today. And then I'll look at Tavis and go, "You didn't even buy me a drink."
There's plenty of time for that.
And I put the braces on and do them up and say to her, "Am I okay to go and have a look at the roof? You said you heard some noises up there. Good to we can't get to the bottom of this."
Well, you know the way, but I feel your friend is right. I would stay out of the way if the watch was to come.
Oh, but I really want to go up there.
There was nothing I could see through the bird's eyes there's no people fleeing. There's no signs of. I didn't get a chance to investigate. Obviously, just looking around, but I couldn't see anything that was going on there.
How quickly can you get up there?
From fairly quickly, it's like sort of 3 stories up. There's still no signs of the griffins that Tavis has spoken about. There's still a lot of confusion at either end. You can't see anything.
Can I go have a look in front of the doorway? I'm looking specifically for a glass bead that matches something that was missing from the necklace.
Yeah, roll an investigation. So, Isla, are you going up onto the roof?
Yeah, I really want to. It's probably a terrible idea, but I am going. I'll be as quick as I
Okay,
can.
as you, what are you doing with the braces? Are you putting them on, or are you stashing them?
I'll put them on loosely, but I'm not going to like take the effort to do them up properly.
Yeah, you just sort of put them on, one over each hand, and you just start to pull on them. You head through the glass. You go past the counter and the cage into the back where the stairs are, going up onto the first level, and then up again. You see this area that you've been before. You see there's various adjoining rooms, but haven't really got time to poke your head in. And you come up to the top floor, where it just opens out into this huge space. There are sort of trees and plants, and you see that there's the central rung where these plants are all sort of built up, and then plants all the way around it with the glass, and then the sun beaming through. A lot lighter up here now that you're off that street. And you also see that over on the left, about halfway down, where the plants sort of stop, and that the glass door where you left Thorin in his ring when you were last in this room.
Yeah, so does the greenhouse take up the whole roof space? Yeah. Or is there an outside balcony area?
The building itself sort of carries on, so it's got like its own sort of roof on this sort of one half of the building, so it's like brick, and then you've got this massive greenhouse then, which spans I'd say 2/3 of the building, and it is full. It is full.
Can I go over to the side of the building that would be above that road?
Can you go where? Sorry.
Over to the part of the greenhouse that would be, say, overlooking the road.
Yeah. So where the door is.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah, you make your way. The door's actually closed. You can see the adjoining, the street away, over the way. You can open the door, but it is closed.
Yeah, I'm just gonna open the door, and as I go out, I just want to have a little look around and see if there's any evidence of any, say, materials that look explosive shouldn't be there, marks, scuffs, scrapes, groups of people. And just what does it look like from above? Now that I've got the bird's eye, can I see the kind of ground zero point of contact?
Okay, so roll a perception check.
14.
14. So you as you step out, there is a small sort of walkway before the roof slopes down in terms of being slate again. There's like a walkway. You know that this is the walkway where Zaraj made his way within the building. You feel the breeze. You feel that the air temperature's changed up here. Where you also feel the sun beating on your face. And as you sort of scan round and look, just sort of get your bearings in terms of where you are. Essentially, you're a little bit over to the right of where you believe the doorway to be. But when you walk over and you're sort of following that path, so you're sort of more in line with it, and you look down, you can see that the debris is spreading out from that area. That it is darker in this area, like it is scorched. Yeah, it looks to be sort of tight to the wall, but it does confirm your suspicions that it looks like the point of the door was the point of the blast.
But no evidence of anything up there, really, other than just confirming my suspicions.
Yeah, with not having any anything of let's say rain, or let's say it was like snow or whatever it be. There's no real trail marks or anything to that sort of extent.
Okay. Alright, I'll just get out of Dodge then. Go back down.
As you were about to go, you sort of just give another sort of cast and up, and you can sort of see now that the griffins are really clear. And as you sort of stand there, it's only moments before there's a whoosh as this griffin just sweeps around in front, and you're really close now to one of these griffin cavalry, in their armor, resplendent helmet on. You can sort of see that there is a I would say a more advanced sort of saddle. It's not like a horse's saddle. It looks very elaborate, and then there is what looks like a harness around the beak of the griffin itself. You see these huge wings, and then as no sooner as one flown over, next one flies over, swooping round, coming round in an arc, going over the back, right round the back of Troll Skull Manor, and then coming back round again. Third one, whoosh. This time, with the beat of the wing just being over you, you feel you've got to try and keep your balance. Just roll an acrobatics check.
Natural 20.
You, just as you get blown, you just hold on to what is essentially part of the glass frame, just the corner of the glass frame, and you just grip tight as the whoosh of air from the beat of the wings, and it follows suit, starting to come in, and you sort of see that the riders now on there are starting to look over this way and that. They're looking down, sort of scanning, seeing the debris.
When he made his way up to go and inspect the roof, I just said to the guys, let's go into the cloud, try and make our way into the fog cloud, and then try and stay out of the way there, slowly try and make our way into the crowd, like we're just onlookers like everybody else.
Don't want to be.
How long does fog cloud last?
An hour concentration.
Okay.
I don't want to be.
Yeah, is everyone?
I don't want to be anywhere near that fog cloud. And I had already gone to search for the bead, which I rolled a 17 for.
Okay. Yeah, you see that there's a lot of glass, there's a lot of debris sifting through, sort of kicking things aside. Obviously, trying to be respectful of the bodies and whatever else. You don't see anything. Okay, so
waiting for Tavis for Isla to come back down.
Okay, Negan, Ulfgar.
Still in the vicinity, observing what's been happening.
Yeah, you stand there and you see the cavalry coming over. You just sort of catch a glimpse, ever so slightly, of Isla's face just as he leans out and then leans back in again, just as they start to whoosh over. Tavis giving his cue to start moving towards the fog cloud. Do you go with him? Do you stay where you are?
Go with him.
Yeah, you peel away from where Thorin is sort of frantically searching and kicking debris away from the front door, or where the front door would have been. Negan, where are you going?
I'm just. Can I see anyone else that's like? Because obviously there's us that are all looking around. Is there anyone else that's like sort of proper paying attention to what's been going on, or is everyone else just either dead or fled?
No, what you've got is you've got sort of at the. I would say there would be a good 80 feet either side of where you are, where there's become a sort of natural barrier of, individuals that are watching.
Yeah.
This is all sort of happening at a very sort of fast pace. You know what I mean? As you're sort of moving through the motions, you're all doing this at the same time. So in terms of time, yeah, it's all moving along quite quick.
But is there anyone that stands out that I would notice, looking or taking in what's happened?
Roll a perception check.
14.
You scan, and you looking around. You're literally just trying to process as many faces or behaviours, body language, anything that's going to just catch your gut. But you can't really make it out. You can't really see anything. As people are coming to the forefront, people are being pushed to the back. People are trying to crane over. Children are trying to run a little bit closer, like daring each other to come closer, and then they're running back into the pack. Either end of the street now, which the actual long street itself, with your back going into the area where it's calm and free of all this chaos, where Troll Skull is. There's just so much going on.
Okay. And where is Theron? Where I am?
Thorin's right by where the front door was. It's the opening now within the building. He's just searching around that area.
I'm just going to go over to find him and then just say, ask him his opinion of what he thinks. He thinks happened?
I think someone's thrown something from the roof. Just don't know who or why.
Do you reckon they were trying to get something from here, though? Or do you reckon they were just trying to cause damage?
I don't know.
No.
All I know is Siraj was captured, and this was the last place that we knew him to be.
I mean, to take out this many people...
Maybe it wasn't to take out this many people. Maybe it was to take out a nod towards Fala.
I don't know. Seems odd.
As you scan around, all in all, just sort of counting up the bodies, knowing that there's 2 within the fog cloud, you can see that there are 11 dead in this area. This small area outside this building.
And it's the explosion that's done it. It's not like...
Yeah, explosion and debris and shock and what you would imagine from.
Looking up at the building, is it looking like it's in jeopardy?
No, these buildings in this area are really quite solid. You can sort of see that there's. You're kind of reminiscent, really, of the wagon race. You know what's involved when this type of damage has occurred, and it strikes a chord with you in terms of that. But you know that it's nothing that couldn't be repaired in the long run.
And what's Fala doing?
Fala, having just sort of seen Ezelieve, has just sort of walked in to the front of the shop and you can sort of see that she's sort of surveying what's on the shelves, what's missing, what was there, what isn't there. She's just sort of looking around at the damage, and you can see that there's a lot. She is in shock. She's
Can I go over to her and pull the necklace out the bag of holding and Fowler, do you recognise this?
She looks at it, sort of peering round. She takes it off you, just sort of taking the weight, and then hands it back. I've no idea.
Okay. Right. Put it back in the bag of holding. Well, sounds like the guard are here.
Yeah, the Griffins now are there on sort of like they're on like a constant circle. They've done probably 3 passes. Isla, you've noticed that they've gone. They're not flying directly over you during these passes. There's sort of a wider sort of circle, probably about half a mile, quarter of a mile to half a mile, really, in terms of the diameter of the search. As you can see that they're sort of looking around, sort of both sides, peering around and seeing what's if they can spot anything. At this point, you hear that there is a whistle, and you can sort of see to the left of you where you are now is that you can sort of see that the crowd is parting. There seems to be a little bit of order coming your way. And you start to hear a little bit of commotion and some loud voices, and as you watch, you see that this City Watch in yellows and greens, their uniform, appears out of the crowd, and he starts to just move people to one side, not forcefully, but just guiding people over this way. And you see another city guard come out, and you see that there's about 10 of them that start to come out. They start to stand in way of the standing way of the people as they start to filter through. Whereas when you guys on the ground, you can sort of see that. Tavis, you in the fog cloud?
I was going to the fog with a view to trying to make it, to just try and blend into the crowd. Don't know if I would have made it if I had enough time.
You would have, if you're going away from where they are, because the fog cloud to Isla is to the right, looking down. So yeah, you would be moving away from them if that's what you wanted to do. But you'd still have another, I don't know, I'd say like 60 feet really to get towards the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, if I think I would have made it, that's what I was going to try and do, just as quickly and as stealthily as possible, just try and blend in with the crowd.
If you were going to go from the moment you said, right, I'm going to go for the fog, if you were going to head straight through that and head to the crowd, and try and, I think it'd be difficult to try and blend in because they're focused on what's going on ahead of them, and you have been spotted. You could try and sneak in. It would be a disadvantage.
I would have never tried if they were there. I would have only done it before they got there. So if they turn up, they turn up. That's fine.
Yeah. As you start to head towards the fog cloud, you can hear that there's a whistle coming out in front of you, and Isla, you pick up on that whistle coming from the right this time, and you feel that the same thing is happening as you stand there and watch. Another pass of the Griffin cavalry comes overhead. The parting of the people, very orderly again, as City Watch start to filter through. 2 or 3 of the City Watch come through, and then you see that there are 2 males. One is sort of quite short, not dwarf or halfling, human, but quite short, quite round, sort of blondish, like dirty blonde hair with quite a long beard, and you can sort of see that there's round sort of spectacles that sort of sit in amongst his round head. They have purple robes on, and what looks like a sort of a gold medallion, and quite a large bag by their side, and a sort of gnarled branch that's been carved and smoothed to keep the same shape but as a walking stick, and they walk out first. Behind them is, well, a rather sorry looking fellow, really, who's probably about 3 foot taller than the man that walked out first. His garbs are brown, weathered, faded cloak, but you see underneath the cloak there is the yellows and the greens, sorry, of the City Watch. You see that they have quite a long sword at their side. They have quite high boots. His hair is scruffy, unkept. He's got bags under his eyes, looks a little bit wary. He sort of comes in and into view of what's going on, and you sort of see him sort of taking a look around. And as those two come into view and start to move around, you can see that the rest of the City Watch, sorry, start to come in, forming a very sort of similar pattern as those. You see the taller one. He pulls out a notebook, and you sort of see him pointing to a person within the crowd, and then you sort of see there's a transaction in conversation and a nod, and then another one, and you sort of see this sort of thing happening. The shorter one is just sort of paying attention. You sort of see him just sort of twirling his beard a little bit, playing with his beard as he's watching, taking note. He's looking. You sort of see him eyeing up the sides of the building. Yeah. What do you guys want to do?
Are we sticking around, or are we going to try and leave? What do you think?
I mean, we might as well wait here. They're going to come and speak to us in a minute.
Yeah, they've seen us.
Well, yeah, I'm stood in the doorway, so they've definitely seen me.
But next year.
They ain't gonna miss him. We got nothing to hide. We're neighbours who've come out to help after the commotion's gone off.
True.
So you see now as they then sort of stop, they talk to the City Watch. You sort of a few points and considerations here and there, and a few little nods, and then they start to walk over. You sort of see that the shorter one sort of looking up. You can't hear anything, but he's just sort of talking away, and then the other one's sort of nodding and making a note. And then he sort of gives a nod and sort of looks over. The tall one, bags under his eyes and really weathered face. He walks up, sort of greasy hair everywhere, and he sort of looks around and then looks back at you. He waits for his smaller companion. His smaller companion sort of walks up through the glass, and he says, "You know you're in the middle of a crime scene, do you?"
Who's he talking to?
Just you, Tavis, and then whoever's sort of close to you, Ulfgar, I imagine.
Yeah, well, we headed out of our accommodation and heard a massive explosion, and we came to try and help people.
Concerned neighbours.
Sorry, what was that?
We're concerned neighbours.
Concerned neighbours. And then he sort of he looks at his at the fellow that's next to him.
How
And he says,
how long did the explosion go off?
I would say, all in all, in terms of what you've been doing, I would say it would have been a good 25 minutes ago.
Oof. Yeah, I say to him, yeah, it took you 20 minutes to get here. In that 20 minutes, we've been trying to help people while we can. Look at the people on the floor around us. We weren't just going to let them lie there. We had to find out if somebody was okay and needed help.
Yeah. And lots of them weren't okay.
With that, the shorter one, he just sort of looks at you, Thorin, and then just starts to move off. And you sort of see that the taller one sort of watches him leave, and then looks back at you and says, well, right now, you're in the middle of a crime scene, and we need to gather evidence and suspects, and you've probably destroyed most of the evidence. So my partner over there, he's not going to be happy. And 25 minutes in this city actually isn't that long. I see that the Griffin Cavalry has only just arrived. So if you don't mind, if you don't want to step out of our way so we can do our job, that would be absolutely fantastic.
We haven't destroyed any evidence.
Sorts of walks on. You see that as this happens, you sort of see that the shorter one sort of walks up to the fog and sort of looking at it and looking around it. Yeah, can we make this disappear? Someone, please. What is this? Is that you're viewing this from above?
Yeah. I'm gonna make my way down.
Okay. You see that the shorter one, he starts to he walks over to view the bodies. He starts off with the halflings, the old woman. He starts to make his way round, and he comes to a stop by the gnome. And he sort of looking back, you sort of see him eyeing things up where the building is, and back at the gnome, and then back over to where the halflings were. Whatever he's pointing, it's sort of aiming at your fog. And then you hear his sort of sharp, high-pitched voice, and he sort of says, Safe, we can't work with this, whatever this is.
Am I down there at this point?
It won't take you long to get down there.
No. Do I hear him say it?
Yeah, I'd say by the time he's checked the bodies, walked from one group to another, I'd say you've made your way down.
Yeah. If I hear him, I'll just say, no, I'm sure I can help with that. And then I'll walk over close to it, and instead of dispelling it, I'll just cast Gust of Wind and blow it away.
Oh, I suppose you think that's funny, do you? Interfering with a crime scene. I'm sure you think that's really clever. Ooh, great magic. And he just sort of walks off and heads towards the two bodies. And again, he starts to eye it up and then eye it up. Safe! Safe! And you sort of see the taller one sort of straighten up, and he pulls out his book and starts to walk over to the other in front of you. As he sorry?
Okay.
As he as he makes his way, he says, "Where's the owner? Where's the owner of the establishment? Have we got anyone?" And sort of Fala, who you walk past in the front of the shop, she sort of walks out. You see this massive blood stain where her wound was, quite looking quite dishevelled. And then she says, "Yes, I'm proprietor." Right now, and you sort of see the taller one taking his notebook now. He says, "Did you notice anything before the blast?" And she starts to tell her side of the story, just like she told you.
Once I've seen Isla get down and like they're not overly interested in him, I'm gonna leave. They've asked us to get out of the way, and I'm gonna leave and make my way to the crowd and try and go through it.
As you get up to the crowd, you sort of see that the City Watch has sort of formed ranks. And one of them firmly but politely says to you, "No one leaves until we've had an instruction."
Just be
Sorry.
just told us to leave.
Like I said, if I get an instruction, I'll let you go.
What do you want us to do? We've been told not to wait around here.
I've just been told, and you, as he sort of says it, you sort of hear that there's from a guard that's next to him. You sort of hear this jingle, this of like chains, and you see that in one hand he has these manacles, and he sort of just holds them in front of him, not like in an overtly threatening way, just as a reminder that this is under their control.
Is within that cordon then? Is there still the door to Troll Skull?
Yeah. So where you are now, if you look back towards where the party is, the Krellin's Crown is over on your right, and directly opposite that is the roadway then that leads into where Troll Skull is, and Troll Skull's sort of like the other end of it.
I'm gonna try and make my way back to Troll Skull then. I'm not fucking with these guys.
Okay. Yeah, you start to make your way there. Yeah, you see that the large one comes up and says, "Whoa, if you don't mind, I'll have your name before you wander off."
I'm leaving like you asked me to. My name's Tavis.
And where do you reside, Tavis?
Troll Skull Manor, the old tavern.
Oh, I'd heard that place had been bought out. And
It's gonna be hip. Tell your friends.
you hear another whistle coming from the crowd, and the city guards start to part again, and you see that this wagon comes in, just a flat bed wagon, guy on it, horse, followed by another one, and then you see that a couple of the city guard from each end start to peel off, and you see that well, just roll a perception.
How long has it been since they stopped talking to me? They went and spoke to Fala, and then had this interaction with Tavis.
Well, the shorter one is still there with Fala. The taller one peeled off when he seen Tavis moving away.
So is anyone really looking at the gnome's body?
Is the shorter one that's talking to Fala.
Yeah, but
he's not looking right now. He's not looking. He was looking.
Yeah, he was looking at the body. Could I try and make my way over to that body?
Yeah.
And whilst it's there, kind of lean down so like my head's right alongside the head of the gnome. And can I cast Speak with Dead?
Yeah, you can. Are you trying to be covert? Because it's not really a covert act.
Bold.
I'm trying to be as covert as I can be.
As you just roll a stealth check for me, please.
Have
15.
Have we heard the little guy's name yet? When they've been talking to each other?
No. 15.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One sec. Wrong book. Yes. Okay. You kneel down, and you don't look like you've been seen to be about to cast what you're going to cast. However, you're about to animate a body in the street.
What the fuck?
Whilst Isla contemplates his life choices, I got a 13 on that perception check. Which I was
13.
looking at the cart.
You manage to sort of see what you sort of see is as he sort of turns and looks at the cart with his book open, you can see that there is no writing in the book, but instead what looks to be lines, and you can make out that what he's actually drawn is like a bit of a layout of the street. You can sort of see that he's sort of piecing together where everything is, marking out things in relation to the buildings itself. He's just getting a general sketch of what's going on.
He's the dishevelled one, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Is that as you're bending down, a carriage now, or one of this wagon now is really sort of close to where you are, and the smaller one turns around and says, "Yes, you can take the group of halflings. You can take the old woman over there. No, you leave those two bodies there for me. And the smaller one, that's fine there. And what else have we got? Oh, yes. Those there, that small group of individuals, they can go." And you just sort of see that there's guys that are dressed in robes that look sort of really heavy. They start to respectfully, but manhandle these bodies up and onto the cart as per the instruction of the smaller one. At that point, he says, "Please do not move that body." As he looks at you, Isla.
Yeah.
Just roll a perception.
19.
You recognise the robes. You've seen very similar in the House of the Holy Hands, where you investigated the Xanathar bodies.
Yeah, no, listen to what he says and back away. Leave the body where it lies.
Yeah. So the tall one, he starts to move away from you just for a second, and he starts to head over to the short one. He says, "Barnabas, are you sure you want to move all those bodies?" And you hear the short one, Barnabas. He says, "I'm only really concerned with these two groups. Now, if that individual over there said what they said, which is that they seen these two chase this one, he was heading in this direction, was he not?" And you sort of see that Saith, the tall one, well, okay. Yeah, I can see that. He goes, "Right, take that down, put that on the page." And then he turns back to Fala. And you sort of see him nodding and asking questions.
So just to clarify, the two Xanathars were chasing
There was then.
one of the people in the robes.
There was Zentarim, yeah. And what the bodies that he's left and isolated is the 2 Zentarim and the gnome.
Oh, I bet that gnome is Xanathar's. So did he leave me alone then? I gave him my name and told him where I lived, and he's like, "Okay, you can free to go." Or
He never said you were free to go. He's just sort of wandered with obviously something else taking priority over what he's doing.
Whilst he's busy, then I'm just going to try and slip back inside Troll Skull.
Okay, just make a stealth roll just for
14.
14. Yeah. As you do, Barnabas turns and he says, "We'll be in touch. Please do not leave the city. We will have to take your statement." And with that, he sort of keeps his eye on you as you start to head towards the tavern. With this now and this sort of chat between him and Barnabas, you see another City Watch individual step forward. This is a male elf, quite tall, quite slender, looks really sort of smart, and he sort of comes to attention by these 2, and he says, I assume you'll be conducting the investigation out of the Wayborn station. And again, you're familiar with the Wayborn station, as it's the closest City Watch station to where you are. And they nod, and he starts to nod back, and then the crowds open, and the wagons start to just move off, and another empty wagon comes up behind. And you see sort of Barnabas saying, and it seems, from what I can see, he was maybe heading in the direction of the tavern. So we definitely need to make sure that we get some information from those individuals. I don't think there's anything else, judging by the debris, that we can actually ascertain from this situation. And Barnabas is just taking the notes down.
Do any of us recognize the gnome on the ground?
You can roll perceptions.
At 10.
Wouldn't believe me if I said it.
20. How many 20s is that tonight?
How about 2?
1.
0.
No, you don't recognise him. None of you recognise him.
Right, yeah.
I can absolutely 100% guarantee I don't know who the fuck he is.
Oh yeah. So they gather as much as they can. They sort of handle the body a little bit, sort of getting an idea of the positioning before the 3 remaining bodies, the 2 Zentarim and the gnome, is loaded up onto the second wagon, and that carries on towards where you had the cloud. So it's now heading off the other end, and as the horses rattle their way along, the crowd sort of open up a little bit, and the horses disappear through. And you hear Barnabas say, "Right, they're being taken back. We'll we'll keep them, and we'll have a look over those bodies for marks and any evidence that we can find later on. Anything else that you need to take down? Safe? And Safe just sort of no. And then they start to make their way over to where you're sort of congregated. They sort of look at you and, well, you might be trying to help as neighbours, but please make sure that you're available for the watch should we need you. He sort of looks at Barnabas and he says, right, now, from what the proprietor of the shop has said, we need to go and check the roof, so let's go and have a look. And off they go, and they sort of follow the same route that you took, Isla, leaving you guys in the street. While that happens and while they disappear, you start to see that another wagon appears, this time with a crew with people with brooms and just start to clearing up the debris, and you start to see that people start to move now between the 2 points, the 2 checkpoints, as the watch starts to sort of close in, disperse, and things start to get back to normal. And you kind of get the feeling that in this city, with the crime scenes that you've encountered so far, and the amount of crime and things of this nature, that these investigations are short and they are sweet, and they are closed pretty quickly, and they disappear within that building to gather what evidence they can as the life resumes again within the street. And you see that Fala is still sort of shocked and still bloodied. And she turns to you and she says, Isla, Thorin, Negan, Ulfgar, she sort of looks at you and says, I assume you have drink in that tavern of yours?
Not quite enough.
We have plenty to share.
And she looks back at the shop, and you sort of see that ahead of you, Tavis is just sort of making his way back towards the steps leading up to the main doors of the tavern. And she says, if you wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind a drink.
You're more than welcome. And I'll start leading her over the way.
And as you lead her, and you see that Tavis is approaching the steps, you see that descending from above, just on a glide, this black and white bird just swooped down, this magpie, and comes to rest on his shoulder as he starts to walk up the steps and into the tavern. And you guys lead her that way, having had one of the most bizarre, weird 45 minutes of your time in Waterdeep. And if there's nothing else you'd like to do right now, that's where we'll leave it.
Okay, cool.
Sounds good.
Okay.